Yeah, we shot 60%, 66% from the three-point line. So we had our best offensive quarter when we needed it. Yeah, the first half, we just kind of, both teams, I'm surprised all the fans didn't leave after that. But yeah, that quarter was really important for us. I thought we were down, I don't know if we were down 8 or 6 in that quarter at the beginning. Yeah. Yeah, and Vaughn made some baskets. Allie had some really good decisions. We got some rhythm with Bree. Bree rebounded really well. That group that had Bree, Esther, Allie, Vonnie, and then a rotating fourth or fifth. Sometimes it was Mout, Claire, Taylor. They were doing some good things and playing really well together, and making it look simple. We weren't forcing. At that time, we were very patient. Our team sometimes forces the issue, and we did not do that in that fourth quarter, and that's probably why we shot it so well.
You're rebounding the second chance points. You just really.
It was a huge key to the game, and in the outcome for sure. I mean, we 22 rebound margin is pretty significant, and we wanted to make sure that we emphasize. Sometimes we get the offensive rebounds and we don't go up with it, and I believe that you get great shots on kickouts from offensive rebounds too. But there are times where we should just score it around the basket, and even though they're big, those offensive rebound putbacks and the second chance points, we had 21, I think, right? Yeah. Those made a huge difference in the outcome of the game. The turnovers were about the same, so you have to find extra possessions for your team somehow, and that's the best way for our team to find extra possessions because we don't really turn teams over very much, and we want to win that possession game.
How big is it down the stretch and overtime to have a fifth-year senior that you can play through, and a fourth-year junior that is having a game of a career?
Yeah, I mean, those guys, to be honest with you, even Taylor, I know she had that one foul, but Esther, like you're playing with very experienced players, and Allie, you know what I mean? So we have a really skilled one, and then we're playing with, I think anyone who could have Yvonne Ejim on their team would be happy with that, right? So at any point of any game, but certainly the overtime game, yes, we haven't been great. She was 1 for 10 in the first half, struggled a little bit. She played heavy minutes on Thursday also, and I think her and Bree and Esther just they believe in the system. They calm us down. They're not seeking. None of those guys are actually like we're trying to go to them sometimes, but none of them are seeking their own anything. They're trying to do whatever's best for the team, and sometimes that means you have to score a bunch of points, and sometimes that means you just have to set a billion screens. And Esther is really good at it. She's a great screener. And people want to guard her all kinds of different ways. And so I think, really, yes, Bonnie is the one you're talking about, and Bree. The experience makes a huge difference in those players and in those types of situations.
Lisa, what did you think of the hustle plays tonight? I mean, Vaughn was laying on the ground and got a rebound, and Allie hit the three, and then Bree gets that rebound and finds Taylor for the jumper. I guess it just seemed like anytime there was a loose ball, you guys were diving after it. Maybe that had something to do with the big crowd as well, but what did you kind of make of that?
Yeah, well, it's Washington State. That will be, for the foreseeable future, a huge game for us. And we want to build the habits that we have and have it look the same all games. It shouldn't matter who the opponent is, or it shouldn't matter on those things. But it was a big time game, and we needed a big time effort. And I thought at different times we were a little bit low energy, and so we were trying. I've been sick, and so I'm not yelling in the same ways, and I think that's been a little bit detrimental to our team. But we were trying to just manufacture energy. And at one point we said, you guys need to get after everything. We need to win the 50-50s. We have to get the stops. And I think that they certainly also, I think at one point we said, if you're not scoring, do something else, right? And when Vaughn wasn't scoring it, or in the first half, she was still rebounding. Mout didn't shoot it great. She was still rebounding. And we're all capable of doing that. Because when we looked at the box score, we said, I think that everyone who played well. Whether that was McKinley's one little stretch that she played well. Or if that was Vonnie's, or who played the most? Allie's 41 minutes, she played well. So we played well and we played hard. And you have to against these guys. They're a good team.
WSU scoring more and more in each quarter as they get along in the game, but then really shut them down on defense. 2 for 7 over 4 in the overtime period. I mean, what adjustments did y'all have going into that OT period to really just change that, especially in that last 5 minutes?
Yeah, well, they were getting loose on ball screens, and then we were bringing help, and then they were getting kickouts to three. So we just changed our ball screen defense a little bit. We have several different ball screen defenses that we can run, and I thought we were supposed to be doing some things different. There wasn't a lot of great execution at different stretches, but we were supposed to be doing some things that we weren't doing. And finally, in that overtime, we had it dialed in. They were communicating. I don't know how they switched some of that stuff, but when you have long players out there, Vonnie, Esther, and Bree, they can guard anybody, right? They can all guard the guards. They can all guard the forwards. And then, Taylor and Allie did what they were supposed to do. So I think we were communicating really well on those screens, and that was the difference for us, I think, in the overtime.
You talked about it, maybe not the start of the season that you're used to or that you guys wanted, but here you are in conference play. You ripped off a dozen in a row. You have 2 wins in your pocket over both Portland and Washington State. Does it kind of feel good to just kind of be like, no, we're still Gonzaga, we're still the top dog right now?
Yeah, I think the thing that feels the best is the way that we're tackling improvement. Our team is continuing to be driven to improve and be at our best at the time that we need to be at our best. And the situation that we're in right now, that's what we want to be. We want to be playing really great when we get down to Vegas. And we of course, want to win a regular season championship. That's always a goal of ours. But we're looking to improve all the time. And they're making adjustments. And, early in the season, we didn't have the right schemes, or we didn't know the personnel, or we weren't able to make some of the plays that we're making now. And so that's the part. The way that they're approaching that is really great.
Bree had a couple of 2 or 3 career bests today. And isn't that the kind of game that you envisioned that she could play when you got her?
Yeah, she's a great player who's just been plagued with injuries. I thought she played really well today, and this is certainly what I don't know if expected, or we know she's capable of. And it's tough when you're in and out sometimes, and you're getting off a minute restriction. She's kind of now finally able to play, I think, mostly what we can play her. Within reason, and it's nice to just be able to work through a couple things. She at one point said, "My bad," on one of the threes she took, and sometimes you have 8 minutes, then you got to cast a little and you have to figure it out. But now she played 26, so you have time to work through some of those things and settle in and get sweaty and then get some rhythm. And she's capable of this on any given day. She's expanding her game. She's playing the 4 for us right now quite a bit, and that proposes big challenges for other teams. And so, it's helping our team. Everything that she's doing is helping us a lot.
This game really seemed to have a postseason tournament feel, didn't it?
Yeah, the intensity, the crowd, obviously the overtime, they let us play. I think that it was pretty physical. The first half was very physical in the paint. And that's what you do get in postseason is a lot less ticky-tack calls. They're going to let you work through it and see who can make the baskets and who can't. And so, yeah, in some ways.
Coach, you saw the defense, or you talked about the defense going down the stretch, getting better. But what offensive adjustments, made it really click, especially in overtime, where you guys kind of, took over?
Yeah, we directed a few balls to Vonnie, and she was able to score them. And then also, I think we were just moving. We were in our ball screen offense quite a bit at that time, one of them, and the ball was just going side, top, side, top, side, top, side. You know what I mean? Until the very end. No one really stopped to take something questionable. No one tried to reject something they shouldn't. They just let the offense work for them. And we had success with that ball screen offense down there as well. And so I think that sometimes we get stuck trying to run set plays, which we weren't running very well today. And their defense is really good. They switch a lot of stuff. They're active individual defenders. They keep you out of the paint the best they can. And so I think with the rhythm and a couple of good screens, that helped us to get our players loose just enough.
And then with the winning streak, what else do you want to see going down the stretch? Just kind of close out the season and really, headed to Vegas, feeling really strong about yourselves?
I think continued improvement on decision making. That's still an area of growth for us. I think continuing to just trust the offense and execute the offense when it's supposed to. We ran a couple set plays that we needed and they didn't go our way, and we need to be able to run the set plays when we need the set plays. So some execution pieces, and just continuing to grow and develop. We're still starting a freshman point guard, and we're still playing a lot of sophomores, and I think that they're going to just keep getting better. And so that's what we want to do. Just tackle each next day. Next week is going to propose a whole nother slew of things. With Breast Cancer Week, we got zone on the road at Oregon State. It's a big week. So there's just going to be big week and big game after big week and big game until the end.
With the Oregon State game up next on the road, playing Corvallis obviously difficult, and then that was the last team to beat you after that, sort of before the win streak started. What's going to be sort of the best way to get past it and win? I mean, obviously that was a tight overtime game.
Yeah, we're going to have to defend dribble penetration. We're going to have to defend the paint. Those guys are very good in those ways. We're going to have to execute. And I don't think that they're running quite as much zone consistently, but like they're a ton of zone. So we're going to have to share the basketball, not let it stick. And then that particular game was ours to lose. I mean, we made some questionable decisions in the end, unfortunately. And I think we're a much better team, but it's going to be a tough environment. It's great having Washington State and Oregon State in the conference. You get to go and play in those kind of games. We're used to only being able to play in them here. And so it's going to be a hostile crowd and good for our team to see, how much we've actually grown or if we need to get back to the drawing board.
Talk about what it felt like out there today for you.
I think I'm just like starting to get my rhythm back. Sitting out that long is hard to come back. So I think game by game, I'm just looking to progress each game. So hopefully we're on the ups and I can keep going through on this momentum. But yeah.
Yvonne, talk about the first three quarters. It just seemed like it was a real slugfest and scrappy and not a lot of flow to the game. And then all of a sudden, both teams combined, I think, to make the first 9 shots in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
What got you guys going?
I think if anything, just like sticking to the game plan. Like we obviously knew that it was definitely a rough stretch at the start, and just continuing to execute, I think, was mainly what we were leaning on. And I think that really paid off when we got into the fourth quarter and we started to see our offense look like our offense and feel like it when we were hitting shots, obviously.
After a slow start for Ghana in the first half, I mean, 1 for 10, starting out with that, but coach was talking about how much you were doing not scoring, and how or doing other things not scoring. And then when you turn that up, especially with you and Turner in the sort of last bit of the fourth quarter overtime, sort of what was going through your head and through your mind as you were getting to that later part of the game?
I mean, if anything, just like needing to win. Like, we needed to get stops. That was like definitely important, and we needed to execute. So, wherever part or like piece I fit into that puzzle, like I'm gonna do what I need to do. So, I mean, grabbing rebounds, playing defense, covering for my teammates, whether that's offensively or defensively. I think that's what our main focus is, and that was my main focus leading down the stretch.
2 out of 3 games with these guys now going to overtime, and the one that didn't was like an 8-point game.
Mhm.
What is it about you guys that match up well with each other and lead to these classic games that we've seen?
Yeah, I think if anything, just kind of the style of basketball we both play. They're a really good, like all-around team. They have really good individual players that fit well, and I think that's kind of similar to us. And just like the dynamic of how we both want to play, it makes like a really like fun and exciting game. So I think that's really like what the Wazoo-Gonzaga matchup tends to be like. But it's definitely exciting whenever we get to play them. I said this before, but I'm like very happy that we get them twice now in conference instead of just the one non-conference game against them.
For either of you guys, obviously a 12-game win streak would always feel good, but considering the context of like how the start of the season was a bit rocky and a little bit uncertain, how good does it feel to not only like be doing this, but doing it mostly in conference or all in conference games and just being able to kind of put your stamp on things?
You're so annoying. Obviously, winning is good. Winning's fun. We don't want to lose. So, like, our win streak is awesome. The start of the season, I mean, having, like, half your team leave is hard to do. And then we're just, like, you got to work through things. And a lot of us didn't have that experience. So now we do, and we're growing on that. We're building on it. So it's exciting to see, and I'm excited for us to see how far we go, for sure.
My 13 for them as a freshman from Paris.
Yes.
Do you remember when you were a freshman?
Like bits and pieces for sure. I remember like the glimpse.
Well, what did you glimpse out of her today?
I mean, she's definitely like a really good player. She's aggressive, and I think just like how she like her physicality, like it's a physicality of someone who's played a lot and had experience. I think at the start of the season, she was starting for them. I think it's her, but yeah. So like I think she has like gained confidence like through their system. So it was fun like matching up with her today. She's a good player, and I like the way she plays.
Yeah, she has pretty good length.
Yeah, she has good length too.
For you guys out rebounded them by 22. You had 10. I guess you had the big one that you fed Taylor for the game winner. I guess just how important was it for you to be on the boards, especially when they have their big out, and what was kind of the focus, I guess, heading into this game for you from that standpoint?
We said like rebounding was going to be, that was one of our keys to the game. And I think we did really well in the rebounds last time against them. And it was a close game last time too. Like it's all those little extra possessions. And I think we had a lot of offensive rebounds, 19 second chance points or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what Craig said in the locker room. So, I mean, that's so helpful. And it really drains a team when they have to play another 30 seconds of defense. So that's hard to play against.
Both of you guys had double doubles tonight, and it just seemed like the team flowed really well all together. What clicked for you guys just in general as a team working as a unit, especially on the boards, like you mentioned earlier?
I said earlier, I think we just wanted it a bit more today. I think we were really fighting for the 50-50s. A lot of us were on the ground, picking each other up, and that correlates to rebounds too. I mean, you out-rebounded a team by 20-something, like, you want it more, so.
Obviously, you celebrated before the game. You've reached a couple big milestones recently. What's your mindset going into the last few games of the regular season and just kind of finishing it out strong in the WCC tournament, especially as a leader of this team?
Just like enjoying my time here. I feel like that's kind of how it was, like from the start, just like knowing this is my last year. So, I mean, every time I step onto the court or like put on a different jersey color or like go to like the away games for like the last time in conference, like just soaking up some of those moments, just knowing that they'll be cherished later on. But I mean, like from the beginning, like just cherishing my time here with the people I'm with and the place that I'm at.
How do you not get frustrated when a team is trying that hard to deny you the entry pass? Like literally, like trying to almost shove you out.
I mean, it's like.
And it still doesn't work.
I feel like it's expected, and we also do that like in practice as well. Like we're a fronting team, so like I'm not gonna get the entry passes a lot in practice. So I feel like we kind of have I don't know, like reps at that. But even if I don't get it, like we still have like the rest of our offense to run. So it doesn't really bog me down that it doesn't come to me, because I know that's not really like, the one and done, the all or nothing. So that doesn't really like bother me. Plus, if my teammates need to get it to me, my teammates will get it to me. I trust them completely. So, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of good things happened in this game. Obviously both teams started off a little slow. I thought we got great momentum coming out of halftime. Finally found our groove on the offensive end, but they're just a hard team to keep off the boards and to hold them to one shot. I think if we just had any ability to do that, we might be thinking of a different game, but that's just so big a part of their game, and a lot of threes came off of those in and outs after missed baskets, and again, credit to them. Very tough team, but proud of our team and how we competed.
We don't often see you shorten the bench as much as you did. I think there's 6 players played in the second half, and obviously it seemed to work because there was long periods of efficiency. What was just kind of the thought going into that to kind of stick with those 6?
Well, it just, defensively, I thought we really got into a great rhythm at the start of the second half, and even at the start of the middle of the second quarter, I thought that was our best defensive team on the court. We held them pretty good in the second quarter. And just feel like these games are going to be tight at the very end, and honestly, some of the mistakes that we did have tended to be, freshmen making some mistakes on how to guard. It's just, it takes a long time to figure out how to guard these guys and do it properly. Got to keep playing young players. I've got to keep doing that. But tonight I just felt like we had too good a rhythm to take those guys off the court.
What were you kind of working through there? You obviously had a big wrap around your quad, and how much did that kind of hinder you, and how were you able to kind of grit out today's performance?
Yeah, it was just a lingering injury from practice earlier this week, but I was just mostly fighting cramps in my legs and calves and then hamstring and then quad. So got some electrolytes and it fixed that. So yeah, that was the problem.
Coach, I know you talked about slowing down Egypt being a big piece of the game. In the first half, she shot 1 for 10, and then ended up getting a lot more in the second half. I mean, what out of the game did you see the team was able to do to get that first half efficiency down for her?
Well, I just think we guarded really well. I thought we had a good idea of what we wanted to give up and where we could help some in on. They can put people on the court that you can't really help on, so they're a hard team to guard, and Egypt's kind of impossible to guard. We continue to lose games, though, on the boards, and that's the only disappointing thing on this. So that's the hard part, is we just can't keep these guys off the boards. We lose 21-2 on second chance points. They get a lot more shot attempts. There's a lot of good in that, of how good we're playing, but gosh, that just kills us ultimately in beating a good team.
Team, what led to that kind of offensive explosion we saw like towards the end of the third quarter and start of the fourth with you guys? It had been a struggle for you guys in the game, but then all of a sudden, like a switch flip that you guys were all of a sudden you couldn't miss like really good off-ball movement, stuff like that. Just like, is that something you would take away from this game and say, hey, this is how dangerous our offense can be?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, it's a lesson for the future, and I just think we're not we're not used to physicality, and this is a really physical team, so it's just important to come into the game and play like that since the beginning, because it's kind of late to start in the third quarter or fourth quarter or whatever. But yeah, as we saw, like our shots wouldn't fall in the first quarter, but that also comes from like we're slow entering the offense. We wouldn't push the ball, we wouldn't run in transition, so I feel like on the third and fourth quarter, once we would get the defensive rebound, we would run, and that helped us a lot.
Sarah, Allie Turner continues to keep getting open from three. She's kind of a big threat. I'm sure you saw that in the scout. I heard a lot on the bench, about going on threes and stopping her. She ended up with 15 points. What do you think needs to happen next time to kind of a threat like that?
Yeah, she was a big emphasis in our scout this week, and we really didn't want her to get any touches, any threes. So I think with the game going on like that, it's kind of hard with it being so physical, so we kind of had to adjust. But yeah, it was just another emphasis on the scout and really focusing on who were the key players, and she definitely had a great game and definitely showed out for what we didn't want to
And how are
happen.
you feeling now with the coming back from the injury? You still finished with 18 points. It's a pretty strong performance, I'd say, despite your injury.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Just gonna hydrate when on the bus ride back, but yeah, just looking forward to recover and then getting back to it on Monday.
Amy, until you guys get Alex back, what needs to change rebounding wise, and whether that's more minutes for Candace, or what can you guys do to try and stem that tide until you get her back?
Yeah, we'll get Candace back in it again. Just didn't think she was giving us, the on either end of the court what we needed. So every player on our team's going to get a chance to get on the court based on how they practice and how they rebound and how they compete on the boards. We've got to make an emphasis of that. Alex will get back eventually. I don't think we've been a great rebounding team with Alex either, so I don't know that you can. I think it's just our nature, and they're one of the best in in the country, and so we got to put bodies on people. We got to pursue it, and we've got to get some offensive rebounding. We're just not pursuing the ball near enough on the offensive end, so it'll just be an emphasis as we go, finish up this season.
Do you feel like this rivalry, to put a label on it, is intensifying?
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, it's always been great. I think they've obviously succeeded a lot more than we have in the NCAA tournament, and as far as what they've done and accomplished, tradition-rich, winning culture and program. They're as good as anybody. Nobody wants to play them in the tournament, so love competing against them. I think Lisa does an amazing job, and I think there's so many good things about playing when we're this close to one another, and now that we're in the same conference, maybe obviously we'll be doing it a lot more of.
In a game that's decided by 4 points, how much of a difference does the home court advantage they have make with 6,000 here?
Well, it's just a great environment, but I thought our kids really stepped up and handled everything that the crowd was doing. I thought that back and forth period that y'all were talking about in the third quarter, I mean, in the fourth, it just was back to back to back to back where people were making plays and answering the other team. And that's what you want to see a young team do. And I thought our team really responded great in those situations. Crowd hurt us a little bit. You know, a couple of bad calls by me and not calling a couple of timeouts, I think, hurt us. But, you know, we put ourselves in position to win this game, and we just didn't quite do enough. We didn't do enough at the free throw line. We didn't do enough, you know, rebounding. We didn't do enough on the end-of-game situations either.
With you guys moving along, did y'all feel the same about the crowd, or how did that affect you guys? And also, you know, they took on from you guys at home. How badly did you guys feel that in the moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, especially on free throws. I think we missed a couple of free throws at the end. I feel like if we were at home and the crowd was on our side, those would have gone down. But it's a lesson for the future. I mean, we have to get used to crowds like this, because once you go and play a tournament game or whatever, you're going to have these crowds. So just got to focus a lot on the scout, because you can't really hear on defense or offense. So just got to read the game, learn how to read the game. And yeah.
You're talking about the third and fourth quarter, you know, a back and forth fight. Even when Tara was out, it seemed like D and Shasha both hit a couple big shots. Yeah, how was that, just keeping the momentum going and staying with it?
Yeah, I just love that from young players. Again, they're getting better. Shasha will make big shots anytime she gets them. I love that. She just made some mistakes defensively. That's what got her off the court a little bit. And again, Candace is going to get right back in it. We just need better responses from her. So we're deeper than I played tonight. We just have to, and we have to play deeper. But I sure like the freshmen that we have and how they're playing.